In October 2020, Donald Trump and the United States government nearly started a nuclear war with the country of China. Thankfully, we avoided that conflict, and in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down a recent article from the Washington Post that highlights some of the key events that happened during Donald Trump's last few months in his presidency. At the time, Donald Trump's actions against China were so severe that America's top military officer made secret calls to his Chinese counterpart to assure China that the United States would not strike. Everyone, as I've been preaching on this YouTube channel for a long time, it is very important for the United States and China to find a way to peacefully coexist. As an American citizen, I am gravely concerned with the future of the United States government and the pathway that we are choosing to go down. Thankfully, in October 2020, rational thinking helped the United States avoid this unnecessary conflict. But I don't know if that's going to be a guarantee for the future. And it's really important that all of us understand the dynamics behind this important relationship so we can be better informed, and most importantly, we can find a way to peacefully exist with the country of China. This is going to be an action-packed episode as always. Let's get started. Everyone, I want to welcome you back to my YouTube channel. My name is Cyrus Janssen, and if you're new here, I make weekly vlogs about China and its role in society today. I invite you to hit that subscribe button and stay along as we tell this amazing story. Everyone, this is General Mark A. Milley. He is the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, which means he is America's top military officer. General Milley was so fearful that President Trump's actions would spark a war with China that he personally called his Chinese counterpart, General Li Zuocheng of the People's Liberation Army, not once, but 2 times, to assure him that the United States would not strike China. Now, the first call took place on October 30th, 2020, just 4 days before the 2020 election that ultimately would unseat Donald Trump and give a new presidency to Joe Biden. Now, the reason that General Milley was calling his Chinese counterpart is that United States intelligence suggested that China believed America would attack them militarily. And that belief was based on 2 things. The first was the United States carrying out military exercises on naval fleets in the South China Sea. Now, many of you know about the South China Sea. It has constantly been in the news, and it is a vital body of water for international trade for both China and many countries around the world. And again, here we have the United States government flexing its muscles by taking its naval ships and making sure that they are doing military exercises in the South China Sea for China and all the other Asian countries to basically know that, hey, we're America, we're here, and we want to be involved in this part of the world. The second reason that the Chinese were concerned was, of course, the rhetoric that has been constantly spewed from Donald Trump throughout his presidency. Remember, Donald Trump, almost from the very beginning, launched a trade war with the country of China. He started banning everything that was Chinese. And ultimately, he started blaming every American problem on the country of China. This rhetoric continued almost throughout all 4 years of his presidency. And again, this put China in a very vulnerable position. I want everybody to remember one thing. China is a peaceful nation. It has not been involved in an international conflict since 1979. But there is one thing that I think we all need to understand. China has been building up a military presence. If you put China in a corner, attack them, threaten them, make them feel vulnerable, it's inevitable that China will retaliate. Again, China is not going to initiate this conflict, but if they feel threatened, we better believe that China most definitely will respond to a United States attack. As an American citizen, I'm very grateful that we have somebody like General Milley that could use common sense and logic and realize that we must do whatever we can to avoid conflict with China. Again, let's just make this point very clear. If the United States and China were to get in an international conflict, this would be devastating for the entire world economy. And this is what General Milley said. General Lee, I want to assure you that the American government is stable and everything is going to be okay. We are not going to attack or conduct any kinetic operations against you. General Lee, you and I have known each other for now 5 years. If we're going to attack, I'm going to call you ahead of time. It's not going to be a surprise. This is really just mind-blowing to me because it just shows how dangerously we were close to actually starting a nuclear war with the country of China. Thankfully, we have someone like General Milley who has the common sense and logic to think ahead and to say, look, I need to do what's not only best for our country, but also for the entire world. Thankfully, General Milley called his Chinese counterpart to give China that reassurance that America was going through some difficult times. Again, this was leading up to the 2020 presidential election. Don't forget, in the weeks coming up to the presidential election, Donald Trump had already said that Joe Biden was going to steal the election and that the Democrats were going to cheat. And again, we knew that there was going to be a lot of conflict in America's democracy. This was really a very difficult time for the country of America. And General Milley did two things to ease those tensions. Number one, he called his admiral in the South China Sea and instructed him to stop doing those military exercises. The second thing that General Milley did was to call in senior officers to review the procedures for launching America's nuclear weapons. Now, the President of the United States does have access to the launch codes for America's nuclear weapons, but General Milley confirmed that the President cannot launch those weapons without General Milley's consent. This was important because no matter how irrational or chaotic the United States President became, General Milley, the man that was proceeding with rational thinking, knew that he could avoid any potential conflict because he was involved. Now, the second call between General Milley and General Lee took place on January 8th, 2021, 2 days after the Capitol siege carried out by Trump supporters in a quest to cancel the vote and reverse the result of the elections. January 6th was a difficult day for all Americans. This was a day that our democracy took a severe hit. And again, to this day, in September 2021, we still have Donald Trump supporters that are stating that Joe Biden stole the election and that still believe Donald Trump is the president of the United States. Again, if you are in that camp and are believing that Joe Biden is not the president, then you do not believe in a democracy. Even the country of China was concerned for the United States of America, so much that General Milley once again had to call his Chinese counterpart, General Lee, and this is what he said. "We are 100% steady. Everything's fine, but democracy can be sloppy sometimes." Now, all of these insights that I've shared come from a new book entitled Peril by the Washington Post associate editor Bob Woodward and national political reporter Robert Costa. Moving forward, the last thing that the United States needs is another international conflict. Unfortunately, the United States is the most warlike nation on this planet. But those are not my words. And always in situations like this, I remember the words from the 39th President of the United States, Jimmy Carter. The United States has been at peace for only 16 of its 242 years as a nation. Counting wars, military attacks, and military occupations, there have actually only been 5 years of peace in U.S. history. Jimmy Carter referred to the United States as the most warlike nation in the history of the world, a result, he said, of the United States forcing other countries to adopt our American principles. We are always trying to push our values and our method around the world. And there has never been a better example of how this is a complete waste of resources and time than when we look at the country of Afghanistan. For the past 20 years, the United States government and military have tried to bring democracy to the country of Afghanistan. And this failure in Afghanistan really needs to be a lesson for the United States government and certainly for our people. We need to start demanding that the United States government takes care of Americans and starts looking inwardly. Look at what we accomplished in Afghanistan in 20 years. It took 4 American presidents, 20 years, 2.2 trillion US dollars, and millions of lives lost to replace the Taliban with the Taliban. And no, democracy completely failed there. Why? Because democracy does not mean anything to these people. These people, at the end of the day, are not Americans. Do you know where democracy means a lot to? It means a lot to Americans. So let's focus on making our democracy better, because right now, America's democracy is at the lowest level it has ever been. If you don't believe me, take a look at this article from Bloomberg that states that 73% of Chinese consider China to be democratic. Meanwhile, Only 49% of Americans believe the same about the United States. How is this possible for the United States? Aren't we the leader of the free world, as we always tell everybody? But once again, our democracy is in dire need of improvement, and this is what I am calling for as an American citizen. I want America's government to focus on America. Enough of these international conflicts. Thank you, General Milley, for doing what you did to avoid this disaster, because a conflict between America and China is good for nobody. Do you know why China has not been involved in an international conflict for over 40 years? They've been too busy building infrastructure and figuring out how to bring people out of poverty. Take a look once again from this article from Bloomberg. 50 years ago, China was dirt poor. Today it's richer than ever. And this is a result of a country that prioritizes its citizens and prioritizes its future. Again, look at the infrastructure in China. Look at the jobs that are being created, the poverty that is being alleviated. This is what a country can accomplish when they do not involve themselves in unnecessary wars and conflict. Now everyone, I want to thank you for making it to this point in the video, and I hope you enjoyed today's deep dive into this Washington Post article, the events that were surrounding the last few months of Donald Trump's presidency, and most recently the phone call from President Biden to President Xi. I really hope that the United States and China can find a way to peacefully coexist. This again is the key foundation of this channel. When the United States and China work together, the world is going to win. I'm trying to be a bridge to help this relationship improve. I really hope that we can go back to the brighter days. Remember, this relationship is not new. The United States has had diplomatic relations with China for well over 50 years. There has been a tremendous amount of success for both nations as a result of this relationship. It's time for us to look back on what was successful and make sure that we go back to those brighter days. Because once again, if that happens, it's going to be better for you, me, and the entire world. Thanks everybody for spending time with me here on YouTube. Again, make sure you hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more information. If you're interested in joining our team and receiving exclusive content from me and helping this channel grow even faster, I'm going to drop a link down below for my Patreon account where you can join a great community of supporters. Everyone, my name is Cyrus. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next video.